My name is Brennan MacKay, and I'm an attorney.
Okay. What kind of law?
Personal injury litigation, malpractice.
Okay. And how did you meet Suzanne?
I met Suzanne years ago when she joined a marketing group I belonged to, and I also got to know her through her daughter, who I work out with.
Okay. Very good. Can you please tell me what is health to you? And if you could restate the question, answer.
Sure. Health to me is the absence of dependence on drugs, on modalities, the absence of restrictions in how I want to live my life, and vitality, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Do you feel like you're healthy right now?
Yeah, I'm battling a cold right now, but overall, yeah, I think for someone my age, I'm 47, that I feel like I'm in much better shape than most of my peer group, and that's, to me, that's very important.
What do you think it has been that's helped you to stay in shape, and what do you do to stay in shape now?
I do a bunch of different things. I try to stay off prescription medication. I've been very lucky with that. I don't have any chronic health conditions. I'm very physically active. I do a lot of CrossFit, but I think regardless of what you do, if you stay active, staying mobile, stretching, and trying different things is a real key to kind of maintaining your vitality.
And can you tell me how working with Suzanne has affected your life and a little bit about what you have done together?
Sure. So when I met Suzanne, she introduced me to what she does with the oils, and she brought a smorgasbord of them over and kind of introduced me to some of them and what they did. I've only scratched the surface, but I found a lot of utility with some of the things that she's given me. So one of the most effective for me is On Guard, which a lot of my friends have also raved about, where I've been able to kind of head off a common cold on day one by taking On Guard. The frankincense has been great for me for muscle aches and pains when I overdo something or tweak something. And the Digest Zen has also been a really cool addition. I don't normally have stomach issues, but every once in a while you go out and have a new food or a dinner that you don't normally have, and you come home and you don't feel quite right, and that just sets you right within a matter of minutes.
When did you first hear about essential oils?
Through my sister, who's an acupuncturist. She talked about them vaguely, and I think she might have even shown me or had me, smell a couple of them. But it really was only when I met Suzanne that I really got the full exposure to them.
Okay. And could you say something about, like, with saying the words essential oils? Like, I've learned about essential oils, and pardon for asking that again, but
sure. So some of the things that I've learned through experimenting and using essential oils is that there's lots of different ways to attack a problem, and it's not always a pharmacological solution. I found that a lot of these things work in much more natural ways, and they frankly work better. So for me, that's been a real eye-opening experience. You don't rush to the medicine cabinet necessarily. You take a step back and say, wait a minute, I have an oil that can do this. Let me use that instead, because frankly, it's going to be better for me.
what was it in your life that really helped you decide to, okay, I'm going to try essential oils for real now, though?
Initially, it was probably just knowing Suzanne and wanting to try them to try to support her. But then once I started using them, to me, it's almost an empiric formula where I'm going to try something, I'm going to see what it does. I might try it several times to see what it does, but I'm not going to keep trying it if it doesn't work. And so with me, the proof really was in the pudding, like actually trying these things out. I strained a muscle doing a workout. I go home, I find the oil, I put it on. An hour later, it feels better. Or I feel a cold coming on, I use the On Guard. The next morning, I wake up fine. That happens enough where you're like, you know what, that's really a solution that I want to have as part of my arsenal.
Can you tell me a story, if you could think of one, of a time that you were in pain or you had a situation where you can think of specifically that an oil was able to help you? And what did people around you think of that time?
Recently, so we had gone out for a dinner, and I usually eat very lean, very healthy, but you go out to these dinners and you have, restaurant food and whatever. And so we had a great time, but on the way back to the house, I was like, boy, that was really too much. It was really heavy. And my stomach was just not quite right. And, was getting ready to go to bed, and I was kind of dreading the fact I was going to be up all night with kind of a stomach upset. So I took about 5 drops of Digest Zen in a glass of water, and about 5 minutes later, I was fine. And so I relayed that to my wife, who's kind of an oil skeptic, and she was like, "Wow!" And so now she's trying it. So that was kind of a interesting moment for us.
Now, I love the way you're describing things. I'm asking more questions. That's okay with you.
Sure.
Talking about oil skeptics, okay, because I hear that. I'm from the land of doTERRA. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, there are a lot of believers out there. There's a lot of skeptics too. What do people say that are skeptics that you've seen when you first started using the oils? And are they still like your wife, being skeptical and starting to change? Or other people other than your wife, what are they thinking?
So I think that oil skeptics generally probably take the position, which I understand, is that there's no. I don't understand how pharmacologically this is doing what it does, so therefore it must not be doing what it does. It must be a placebo effect, and I can see why people have that attitude. And usually, what I say to those people is, "Listen, the proof is in the pudding, so give it a try." It's the worst case is you're going to have something that smells good that you're going to be using, on you or near you. But if it helps, it's going to help without drug intervention, which is a great thing. And so why not give that a try first and see how it goes? So that's kind of been my main response to oil skeptics.
Have you been able to discontinue some drug use that prescription drug use that you were previously using because of oils?
Not necessarily discontinue. I'm definitely using less. Like I've had, since I was a kid, I've had asthma. And that started off as bad enough that I was in the hospital with asthma as a kid, but then now it's just become like exercise induced and allergy induced. But with like Breathe, I'm able to put that on at night and not need to take a puff on the inhaler before I go to bed. And so that's been a change for the positive. So I wouldn't say I've discontinued any drugs that I was on, but I've definitely knocked them down in terms of the volume of usage.
I'm starting to think more about some doTERRA use myself on some things. I've tried not to ever use aspirin at all if I can avoid it. Talking more about health. What do you think about people around you and you talking about oils? Is it a strange situation? Are you telling other people about your experiences, and how's that looking in your life?
I don't advocate for it. I don't really advocate for any approach to health. I think everybody needs to do what they think is best for them and for their families. But I do, throw it out there, when, especially in my exercise community, when somebody has a muscle issue or a pain issue, I usually throw it out there as an alternative because it's so minimally invasive that, it's not going to get an epidural. It's not going to get a cortisone injection. It's, listen, you can apply this topically and it might help fix the problem.
What do you think about Suzanne's personal vitality? I'd love to talk about what you've seen her do in the world and with her own health a little bit.
I'm in awe. I mean, I think I've told this to her many times. I hope I have. But so just pride in watching someone who just is not letting life catch up to them. They're staying a step ahead. They're amazingly active, and the fact that she's running road races is just, to me, astonishing. I can't keep up with her, so yeah, kudos.